So this is part 2 of my conversation with Blake. As you can see, we got rocking and rolling, and I had to tell him I was going to call him back because our conversation it was robust. So I'm calling him right. I'm calling him back so we can continue our conversation.
Hey, what's up?
All right. So that was so basically what I was saying is. I think when you watch AAU basketball, that's what you see a lot of times, unless you're dealing with a team that's got some like showed off players on it. And I don't even know how you can coach these super teams up where you got kids that are coming out of state and just meeting another AAU team out of state and playing because they play for a gym shoot team or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how you can really coach them up besides putting them in this pace and space type of format, clearing it out, figuring out who can shoot, figuring out who can handle, and figuring out who can catch and finish. And I think that process, continues on the next level. So now you start getting the one and done kids. You only got 1 year to coach them, not even. And you can't coach them up too much because if you coach them up too much, they might get pissed. And that might blow your chance to get another blue chip or another premier player. So that coach is now forced to be like, well, do I try to coach this kid up and teach him how to come off the ball, teach him how to play without the ball, and teach him how to give him the confidence to give up the ball, knowing that he'll get it back, and teach him how to score in these effective, efficient ways, or do I just let him have the ball? So now, because there's so much pressure on that college coach from boosters, from donors, from who knows who, right? You got to find a way to keep these guys happy so we can continue to get them, so we can put butts in the seats. So now that guy can't coach this guy. He can't really coach. So now you say, well, I guess I got to come up with a simplistic system that will allow for this kid to play and flourish. So now you let them take whatever shots they want. You put them in a bunch of pick and roll situations. And that guy is given the keys to the car on day one. So now he's talented enough. He's been talked about enough. So now he's a lottery pick. And now you draft him because you're like, well, we don't want to miss out on, this guy that everybody thinks is good. And so now you got him, and now it takes that guy 5 to 6 years to figure out how to play basketball. And then sometimes it doesn't translate. And so I just think there's something about the way these kids are being developed that they're lacking some things. The reason why Donovan Mitchell has been able to come into the league and have an impact is because, I guarantee you, he knows how to play. Now, first of all, he's an older guy. So he's an older guy. So that goes back to your one and done rule. All the guys who've been able to come into the league and have immediate impacts are not one and done players. They probably was playing for like 2 or 3 years. So they know how to play. They've been coached up. But they know how to play off the ball. They got a legitimate skill set. Like Donovan Mitchell can play with contact. You can bump him. He can still get to his spots and score. He knows where his spots are. He can play off the ball. He knows how to set screens. He knows how to read somebody off the ball, backdoor. He knows how to just space the floor out. And so he's a rarity, but that's what these other guys are missing. This lack of skill and ability. And I think that's why you see it in, the Euro guys, and you see it in some guys like Donovan Mitchell. There's another guy that comes to mind that I can't remember. Damian Leonard. Same thing, was coached up for 2 or 3 years, 3 or 4 years, came into the league and was ready to play because he developed a skill set where these younger guys, they don't have it. So that's my philosophy, my theory.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Do you think that it's because, with the pace and space that people aren't setting as many screens, and so they're not really teaching? I don't know if because it's all about money making. So
Because, AAU is just they're really just glorified pickup games.
Sure.
Real. When I was coaching AAU, all I focused on was, helping them get better individually.
You know, it wasn't about wins and losses and all that stuff. It was like, let's just get you guys in the gym, compete against the best kids in the city or the area at practice, and go to tournaments and see what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not like you know, we practice twice a week and some kids can't make it because of baseball, or some kids
Sure.
don't make reason, so you can't really put in any plays.
Yeah.
So you really, I mean, you just roll the balls out and you just try to help them with their individual games and help them with their character and see what happens. So I don't know. I don't know how to change AAU. I haven't been experienced enough with it to really know what all the problems are, and to definitely, I don't know what the solutions are. But I think our challenge as coaches is always just doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, and you talk a lot about kind of tending to that one kid who may be special, but we just have to focus on doing the right thing and doing it for the kids, and not worrying about, like what you said, like boosters and parents and opinions and whatever. We just have to do our best and do the right thing for the kids and be motivated by the kids and their well-being, or else you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah, it's tough. I think coaches are in a tough spot because all depending on how good that kid is, if that kid doesn't come in with a desire to learn, sometimes it's hard to coach them. You know what I'm saying? You just can't coach them. And like if mom and dad are so oblivious that they can't see that their kid is being coached, and they don't understand the long ball game. They don't understand that if all depending on where your kid goes to college, they might be a really good player there already that needs the ball. So your kid is going to have to learn how to play with the ball, but he may have to learn how to play without the ball in order to play in significant minutes. So it's necessary to learn both. And sometimes coaches don't see that, parents don't see that, but that's what that coach might be working on. I'm going to teach you how to do both. And so a coach is like, do I jeopardize the opportunity to win some games, coach up this kid for the long term, because the parents might not see it. Now they want to take the kid out of the program. They may want to take the kid out of the school. You know what I'm saying? And so now it's so hard to coach good kids. So that kid is not like, nah, mom, nah, dad. I like the way Coach Reynolds coaches me. He's challenging me a lot of different ways. I enjoy this. If that kid has any talent, he can, he pouts enough, and the parents thinks that he's got Division I potential, full scholarship potential, or even pro potential. They're trying to find, how can we highlight his skill? And I think there's so much of that going on that it almost Jedi mind tricks you into believing that these kids are really, really talented, because that's all you see is these kids, right? Mm-hmm. And so now, even for scouts, they miss out on a Donovan Mitchell because they're fixated on Lonzo Ball. They're fixated on De'Aaron Fox. Now, those guys are good ball players. But they're fixated on Markelle Fultz. They're fixated on Dennis Smith. And they're fixated on these high shot, one and done guys. Say what?
I ain't saying anything.
Oh, they're fixated on these guys, and they're missing out on like the talent, like the tried and true proven talent. And I think that's why we think like, man, the NBA is in really, really good shape. All these threes, all these dunks, all these layups, man, the NBA is in really good shape. And I look at it like, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know if these guys can really hoop like that. You know what I'm saying? And so those are my concerns. And so, yeah, so that's why when I hear Jason Williams, I like my hair. I don't have any hair, but if I did, it'd be gray. I grow a gray beard. My belly would get big. I have on a flannel shirt, and I'd be like the old guy on the porch. I look like Uncle Drew. I look like Uncle Drew, and I'd be that guy on the porch like back in my day. And I hate to be that dude, but only time will tell. We'll see what all these, the point guards of the last players of the last 3 to 4 years and in the oncoming class, we'll see what they look like. We'll see what they turn into.
Yeah, for the past few years, like, I know the popular opinion is to say that college is better than the pros, but I've enjoyed the pros much more than college the past.
Oh, 5. You and me both.
Yeah, like, I do. I'm one of the people that thinks the NBA is in great shape, and I think it's really well run. I think that they market their players extremely well. I think that the biggest problem I have with it is just the Warriors and how they've stacked it, and I think it's weak.
Well, they're in trouble now.
I don't think so.
What?
I think they'll all be healthy and fine when they need to be. It'll be fine.
Blake, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think.
Look, you heard it from here first. The Rockets are frauds.
Man, Blake. Look,
let me tell you this. I have a bet with a friend right now.
Yeah.
That if the Thunder play the Warriors and the Rockets play the Warriors, that the Thunder will force more games.
Wow, man. So, okay, so so I have these people that I feel like you cannot win with. These people in my head that you cannot win with, right?
Hmm.
You cannot win with Jamal Crawford.
Right.
You cannot win with Dwight Howard. If he comes to your team, you're not going to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to say this about J.R. Smith, but he got one.
Well, with LeBron, though, that's different.
I know, but I thought he was so bad that, like, he would just do something stupid. I just kept waiting for him to, like, punch somebody in the nuts or something like that.
Yep.
Dan and Tony is another guy who I feel you just cannot win with. And I know some of his losses have been circumstantial. What happens if poor Ori...
He got cheated out of one. He got cheated out of the one where Omari got suspended coming off the bench.
Yeah.
They should have won that year.
For the hip check. So,
yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm like, you just didn't get it done. And he had some really good teams there. So my thing is, you got D'Antoni. Every playoff game, every playoff series, every playoff series, at some point, James Harden checks out.
That's what I'm saying.
It's been happening since college.
And it happened his first year in the league with the finals.
Yes.
Dude, and disappeared.
It happened last year, too. It happened last year and the year before last.
Yeah. Yes.
And then, I love Chris Paul. I love him.
Me too. I know. What you're about to say is true, but I hate it.
But and again, some of it's circumstantial because he hit a really big shot with a pulled hamstring or injured hamstring against the San Antonio Spurs.
Well, and the Clippers had a ton of injuries, too. Like,
exactly.
He would get hurt, or Blake Griffin would get hurt, or it was, yeah.
So it's circumstantial, but these are excuses that Mike couldn't have, Isaiah couldn't have, Kobe couldn't have. These are just excuses that those guys couldn't have those excuses. You know what I'm saying? They just couldn't. And so I'm looking at what they're doing in the regular season. I'm saying, man, they've been giving everybody work. They've been shooting the ball well. They got some championship pedigree over there. With the Ariza, he's got a championship. He does all the little dirty work. He defends. He gets loose balls. He gets into it. He gets into it with certain people, because he's been there, done that.
Yeah.
And so the more I watch them play, man, I really want to be with like you and be like, dude, they're a fraud. This stuff stops in the playoffs. All the threes, when you start playing, when the guys can get scouted, the game slows down, half court set, and they're going to find, and just like the Warriors in recent years, they found a way to negate James Harden's drives. They started getting hands up, they started crowding them, and all of a sudden he started missing some of them, and he became less effective.
Well, and I think another reason he becomes less effective is in the regular season he is a master at getting fouled.
Sure.
he is a master. But when people play him again and again and again all week in a 7-game series, people figure him out.
Sure.
And they figure out not to foul him, and he flails his arms around thinking he's going to get fouled, and he ends up throwing up a jacked up shot.
I'm with you.
And you watch them now, and I watched highlights the other night of when he went off, and almost every possession that he scored, he dribbled at least 10 times before he scored.
Sure, absolutely.
One time he dribbled the ball like 27 times. I'm not kidding.
It just sounds funny.
When you get in the playoffs, that stuff doesn't work. People aren't playing 3 games in 4 nights. They're not playing back-to-backs. They're not playing regular season level defense. This is the playoffs. This is the real deal, and they're locking you up.
Yeah.
They're the best athletes in the world. And people, like we talked about earlier, the NBA, like people always say, well, they don't play any defense in the NBA. Bro, you play 3 games in 4 nights and guard the best players in the world, and you can't touch them, and we'll see how good your defense looks.
Bro. Yeah.
Good luck. And these guys are unbelievable. So don't give me that. But when the playoffs start and the games slow down, I'm telling you, I like the Thunder more than the Rockets.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Midway through the season, if you told me that one of the key players for the Warriors would be injured, or they'd have to go through the playoffs without one of them, I would have told you they'll be fine. But Draymond Green doesn't have the same fire or same pop. Maybe he's waiting.
I'd agree with that. I agree with that.
Maybe he's waiting till the playoffs happens. But I feel like he's too young. He's too young to be jaded. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if he can. What happens with him, because he's shooting the basketball from the perimeter at like a 30-some% clip, and with the pressure, I'd imagine it will go down. Maybe he might turn it on, maybe not. Iguodala, they say, well, when the playoffs come, Iguodala will start playing like Iggy of old. I'm not sure. Their bench has been depleted. I don't know if you want to rely on Swaggy P and Omari Caspi. I don't know if you want to rely on those dudes heavily. Wes is still solid. You know what you're going to get. He's done
a good job, man.
Yeah, he's gonna be fine. You're not gonna you know what you're gonna get. He's not afraid of the moment. He's gonna battle. He's gonna hit open jumpers. He's gonna make smart plays. He's gonna be where he needs to be defensively. David West is gonna probably do exactly what he did last year and no drop off. But I wonder how Stephen Curry will return. Number one, because he's got, not only does he have bad ankles, but he also has a bad knee. Mm-hmm. And Clay is going to be Clay. Clay is going to do Clay stuff, all right?
Clay is that dude. I love him.
He defends, and he shoots the piss out the ball, and he's efficient, and he just is an absolute killer. I wonder how Durant will respond without, in year 2, with more pressure. I wonder how he'll respond in the playoffs. I can't remember what he looked like last year, because I think.
Oh,
is this what it looked?
He was unguardable.
Did they miss Stephen Curry last year?
No.
They had him the whole playoffs, right?
Everybody was healthy last year.
So it was the year before last it was the year before last when Stephen Curry was injured.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And Draymond got suspended.
So, I am interested to see what KD looks like when it's all on him again. And there is no Stephen Curry and his gravity to take away the pressure. I want to see what KD, because essentially, I know it's hard. And did you listen to the Bill Simmons podcast yet?
Which one?
Oh, bro, he got another one with KD.
It's out?
Yes.
Oh, I've been waiting for it. Yeah.
Bro, it's awesome. It's awesome. They get after it. My point is, I feel like last year, and Bill Simmons kind of alludes to like, that championship was pretty easy.
He's right.
And KD tries to defend himself by saying, do you know how hard it is to win? Do you know how hard it is to win in the NBA? Do you know how hard it is to be really, really good consistently in the NBA? And, obviously, Bill Simmons is going to jab him a little bit, but you don't want to compromise this A-list celebrity, right? Or sports personality. So he ain't going to jab him too much. But he was basically yo, bro, everybody was healthy. Come on, man. Y'all, you got 4 of the top 10 to 15 players in the NBA on one team. Come on. And he's like, dude, I got so much respect for when you playing LeBron, it's tough. He's like, I got so much respect for Kyrie. I liked him before, but when I played him, that dude is ridiculous. He's so good. And then he's like, Kevin Love? And I'm like, nah, not Kevin Love. Kevin Love is really good, but the way they were using him, injuries and all the other stuff, I don't think Kevin Love he's not you're going against Minnesota Kevin Love. You're going against Cleveland Kevin Love, right? And I just think that last year was really, really easy. He was playing with house money the entire year. It's easy to take shots when it's easy to take shots when you got a great team, great coach, great culture, great players. It's easy.
Yeah, but he did have LeBron guarding him, which I'll give him that. But you're right. Here's what I do not wish ill will on anyone, especially injuries.
Mm-hmm.
But I was talking to some friends the other day, and how exciting would it be to see the Warriors versus the Cavs in the finals if Steph was injured? Truly, just LeBron versus KD, who wants it more?
Yeah.
That would be so much fun. That would be must-see TV because KD would have to bring it. I mean, Steph, I don't think is better than KD, but I think for their system, I think he's the most, irreplaceable player.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, without him coming off the screen roll and, basically creating a 4-on-3 for everybody else.
Yeah.
I want to see him in that scenario against LeBron. It would be awesome.
Sure.
It would just be I don't wish that Steph would be injured. I think he's a great dude. He's the best shooter I've ever seen. But if it happens, it'll be really exciting.
Yeah.
And I really don't think that there's anybody in the West that they can't beat without Steph.
Man, it's just well, this is the thing. So if Steph isn't playing, then that means that I can't remember who their point guard is now. They just brought him up from the G League, and he's been playing a lot of minutes, been putting up pretty good numbers. And again, he's playing because he doesn't have to play with those other guys, right? He doesn't have to play. He doesn't have to.
He's got nothing to lose. He's just letting it fly.
Yeah, he doesn't have he doesn't have to worry about shooting a shot and looking at KD and being like, oh my bad, I should have passed that one, right? Or my bad, Clay, I should have dropped that one off. He doesn't have to worry about that. So you playing with house money, but if he has to go and see Mr. Why Not Westbrook, it's a problem. And
Westbrook's a problem for them anyway.
He is. He is.
First of all, he plays angry all the time, but he plays angrier against them.
He sure does.
And Steph might as well be a chair in the middle of the court. That dude just goes right by him. And Steph gives him buckets too. Don't get me wrong.
Sure does, yeah.
But Steph looks like a chair, a cone.
Yeah, man.
In the middle of the court when he's guarding Russ. And they have no choice but to do that matchup because you can't put Steph on Paul George.
You can't hide him.
You can't. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the Warriors look like. I think there's some teams because Steph just does so much for that team, has so much gravity, does create so many opportunities for the team, creates so many open looks. I mean, he's the reason why KD can play one-on-one basketball a lot of nights.
Well, not even one-on-one, attacking closeouts.
Yeah.
It's not there's no one-on-one ISO. It is perfect for him.
So without him, man, all of a sudden Portland who was already playing really well. They look like a scarier team. Thunder look like a scarier team. In my opinion, the Houston Rockets, they look like a scarier team. But it's we'll see, man. Man, how do we go to playoffs?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you said let's talk about the MVP race, but I actually want to come back. I want to load up again on a couple topics and then come back on and talk about those.
The MVP talk would be interesting because we bashed Harden so much, but he would be my MVP.
Yeah, he's got to be. He's got to be the MVP. But there's some really cool stories going on. So we gotta figure something out. So let's end this one. Let's talk in a couple of days. Hopefully your boy Drew, who's got so much going on, hopefully he'll be free, and then we can all wrap. We can revisit this conversation a little bit because he's the one that started it, kinda. And then
I won't hold my breath.
Look, that dude, that dude is not that busy. He think he is, but he's not that busy.
He's shopping for shoes right now.
It's 10:23.
He's got Foot Locker, East Bay, and Flight Club all pulled up on a tab, just like shopping.
That's all he's doing. He's not doing anything important.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I'm saying.
Well, let's come back. Let's revisit the MVP race, and then let's revisit some more stories. And like I said, I want to talk shoes, like do some latest pickups type things. You know, wherever, even if it's a month ago or 2 months ago, talk latest pickups. Talk about Kobe's shoes, his new shoes came out, but talk shoes, latest pickups. Talk about what you guys think about some of the comic book movies coming out. I know Infinity Wars is coming out. You've seen the previews, things that you've heard, things that you think might happen. And then continue talking about basketball. So let's end this one and let's get together soon and just kind of pick up where we left off from.
All right, man. Sounds good.
Hey, I just want to let you know, not that I am an official podcaster and that I am so good that I can tell you that you're awesome and it means something, but you are awesome. This was awesome. I think you'll enjoy listening to it, and it's cool. Sarah and I used to always say, like, we don't know any cool people. we don't know any celebrities. How come we don't know any celebrities? And this was a while back, like when we first got married. And so as I started thinking about this podcast concept, I got this concept from my man Nate. Nate Schmidt. He was like, you should do a podcast. I hear your content. I hear all your stuff on Instagram. You should do a podcast. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And so then he told me to listen to Gary Vee. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's a entrepreneur expert. Okay. So I started thinking, okay, I'm gonna start doing podcasting. And then I start thinking about, I started listening to Bill Simmons, and I realized, like, yeah, he does get some celebrities on there, but he has a lot of his, like, nephew, his family members, and his friends on there. Mm-hmm. And it made me think, I have some really good conversations with my friends. And then I started thinking about, like, all the silliness that we talk about, whether it's on DMs or in person. And I was like, man, I could just ask Blake. I just talk to Drew. I'll talk to Kyle Barlow. I'll talk to Nate Schmidt.
That Barlow one was great, by the way.
Appreciate it.
That was awesome.
And I was like, you know what? Like, I got enough at home. Like, I got enough firepower at home to create some really good content. And doing this podcast with you, in my opinion, is evidence of that. It was a free-flowing conversation, good content, good opinions. We had a conversation. It wasn't an interview. I wasn't interrogating you, going back and forth and whatnot. So now we just got to make sure that we can do this somewhat consistently, man. So I just want to say thank you for coming on. And you did a really good job, bro. And I think you're going to enjoy listening back to the last two, the part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, man, I can't wait.
All right, bro, man. I'll talk to you in a little bit, man.
All right, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
No problem. Talk soon. Take care. Yeah. All right, that's my man, Blake Reynolds. Very, very good friend. Very, very good friend. I met him at a time when I was figuring out my purpose, and I was coming up with, my become concept. And, how do you become anything? Dream, declare, commit. And I came up with this concept called flight. Having the clarity to live the purpose-driven life with the perspective that all things are necessary toward fulfillment. And I remember we would have these in-depth conversations, not about sports, but just about life and spirituality and whatnot. And through our conversations, I would be made aware of concepts that I would, years down the line, put into a curriculum that would help me to help others figure out their purpose and help them just in, achieving goals, achieving dreams, and becoming the person that they wanted to become. And so many of our conversations led to that. And he's just been a really, really good friend. He tells me the truth. He's honest with me. There's been some moments where I've wanted his opinion because I knew he would give it to me straight. I know he knows me. He would give it to me straight. And that's my guy, man. That's my guy. He's another guy who lives, walks by faith, not by sight. Has some unfortunate things happen, and he's just figured it out. And he used those moments to become a catalyst for strength and perseverance and development. And so that's my guy, man. And I always feel bad because he always comes up here. We never go down there to see him, but hopefully sometime soon, hopefully this summer, we'll be able to go down there and see him. But that's my guy, Blake Reynolds. I got another guy, Andrew Patrick. He getting all this love, and he too busy for us. But that's my other guy. And when I get both of these guys together and we do a podcast, I guarantee you it will be good listening. So with that being said, I'm going to shut this thing down. Greatness lives on the edge of death. I am not afraid to die. I will fight for my dreams. I will celebrate my dreams, and I will die for my dreams. Thoughts are things, and everything starts off as a thought first. It springs from a place of mindfulness and clarity. I was right. The level of skill has gone down. So I win. Blake loses. It's my podcast. So what are you going to do about it? And I'll be talking to y'all soon. Marfax Jr. Done.